Today is a Sunday, October 29, 2023. This is a Newsweek break story under the title Biden working on a new nuclear bomb. Biden working on a new nuclear bomb. President Joe Biden's administration has proposed erecting a new nuclear lemon as the product of munitions to replace the aging U.S. cache ramps up. The Department of Defense, DoD, blazoned on Friday that it was pursuing the development of a new variant of the B-61 graveness lemon, a type of armament that was first produced in the 1960s, at the height of the Cold War. Until recently, as of late, U.S. atomic weapons items had generally been at a stalemate since the virus war finished with the disintegration of the Soviet Association in 1991. Munitions in the B-61 series, a crucial part of the united cache, are so-called politic graveness losers, unguided munitions designed to crump at targets reached after being dropped out of an airplane. The DoD said in a press release that the new variant, the B-6113, was demanded to assure our capability to achieve deterrence in other objects. The B-6113 will strengthen deterrence of adversaries and assurance of abettors and mates by furnishing the President with fresh options against certain harder and large area military targets, the release countries, while adding that the lemon would include the ultra-modern safety, security, and delicacy features of the B-6112, an Obama-period variant. The B-6112, which wasn't produced until after Biden took office, added a tail tackle to give guided navigation intended to ameliorate the delicacy of the armament. Like other nuclear munitions produced by the U.S. since the end of the Cold War, the B-6113 is anticipated to be made with warheads repurposed from aged losers. The Pentagon said that the B-6113 would have an explosive yield analogous to that of the B-6117 variant, a lemon with a maximum yield of 360 kilotons, according to the Confederation of American Scientists. Still, the B-6113 would have further than 22 times the explosive force of the lemon that was dropped on Hiroshima, Japan, if the yield figure is accurate. U.S. arsenal, the 1.2 megaton B-83. The yield of the B-6112 variant is lower than the B-6117. While the Biden administration preliminarily touted the B-6112s as critical to sustaining the nation's air-delivered nuclear interference capability, the product of B-6113s is anticipated to reduce the number of produced B-6112s. The B-6113 won't increase the overall number of munitions in the U.S. cache, Friday's DoD release countries. The number of B-6112s to be produced will be lowered by the same quantum as the number of B-6113s produced. While campaigning for chairman in 2020, Biden pledged that, if tagged, he'd work to bring us near to a world without nuclear munitions, so that the horrors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki are no way repeated. Newsweek reached out for comment to the White House via dispatch on Friday evening. The Biden administration preliminarily blazoned that it was planning to retire the large-yield B-83. Still, the product of the first new nuclear munitions to include recently produced warheads is taking place under his administration. A 10-time $750 billion trouble to replace the nuclear magazine is the country's most ambitious nuclear munitions trouble since the Manhattan Project, according to the Associated Press. The country's ongoing atomic powers are arriving at the finish of their administration life, and some conveyance frameworks will be unable to have their administration life expanded further, a Legislative Spending Plan Office report on the help inconvenienced nations. Biden's quest for atomic weapons proceeds with a decades-length drive from a few of his trailblazers. In 2003, during the organization of previous President George W. Hedge, the U.S. lifted a 10-time prohibition on creating political atomic weapons. Bush's sweats to make a new low-yield armament were unprofitable. The B-6112 variant was approved during former President Barack Obama's administration, which also oversaw the development of a new nuclear voyage bullet, known as the Long Range Standoff, LRSO, which may still be in the testing stage. Development of new and streamlined nuclear munitions was also active under former President Donald Trump, with the U.S. Navy adding the submarine-launched W-76-2 low-yield nuclear warhead to its magazine during his administration. Thanks for watching and subscribing to the channel.